Start game now.
Welcome, retro fans, to Retro Reviews with your host, me, the No Swear Gamer. And today we are going to continue our ABCs of Retro Gaming series, where we go through the alphabet one letter at a time, find one game that begins with that letter, and review it. Today is the letter D. And today is... Wait a minute. Tax avoiders, what are you doing here? You! I already reviewed you! That's right, and you were a bad game. Bad game. Bad game. Bad game. You should be ashamed. What's that? You have something to do with today's game? Well, you're tax avoiders. That's the letter T, and we already reviewed you. I don't get the crosshair. You mean that wonderful part of your box art and label that had nothing to do with your game has something to do with today's game? Oh, well then let's see. Letter D, crosshair, and let's see. Protractor was the hint last time. What could it be? What could it? Dead angle. Oh, I get it. Angle, protractor, they measure angles. And crosshairs, well, maybe that has something to do with the dead part. I think there's a crosshair in this game. What do you know, tax avoiders? You're good for something, aren't you? Yeah, now get out of here. All right, today we are going to look at Dead Angle by Sega for the Sega Master System. Dead Angle was based on an arcade game, and it is now ported to your Sega Master System. Looking at the label art, I can really tell they put a lot of thought into it, with the deep red representing blood or death, as in dead, and the black lines, that is for the darkness of the story of an innocent girl getting captured in a dark, evil environment, and the white, yeah, that's for the girl who's so innocent. And yeah, Sega put a lot of thought into their labels for the Master System, didn't they? So anyways, yeah, I'm going to look at Dead Angle today. Funny story, I owned this game when I was a young wee little one, and I bought it at a Toys R Us when they were clearancing out their Sega Master System games, and for the longest time I thought it was called Dead Angel. I always mixed up angle and angel for the longest time, especially in geometry class. I was constantly measuring angels in geometry class. So for the longest time I thought it was Dead Angel, and I was getting ready to review this game, and as I was putting it on Facebook asking for ideas, and I was putting my list of D games, I gave it a look and I was like, wait a minute, it's not Dead Angel, it's Dead Angle. But you know what? The Dead Angel thing kind of makes sense too, because your main character, as you will see, you can look through them, kind of like you'd imagine you could look through an angel. And also your character can kind of float up and down like he was flying. So yeah, are you interested? Crosshair, angle, angel, protractor? All right, let's go ahead and pop this into our Master System. Actually, I'm going to pop it into my power-based converter, plug that into my Genesis, and plug in a Sega 6-button controller as we review Dead Angle for the Sega Master System. Dead Angle is based on a kind of obscure 1988 arcade game, also made by Sega. It came to the Master System in 1989, and it puts you in the shoes of George Phoenix, who's a private eye, who put away a mob boss whose name is Robert King. Now, when you put this guy away, he swore revenge, but of course, you know, he was behind bars. What could he do? Well, somehow he escaped. And when he escaped, he stole your girlfriend, Jane. I wonder what Tarzan has to say about that one. Anyways, this game follows you through several levels as you take on one after another of mob henchmen until you get all the way to Robert King himself. Let's look at the graphics of this game. If you look at the graphics, you will notice that it is kind of bland. All the backgrounds look kind of the same. I mean, every level is different. You have one where you're in the streets, one where you're at a pier. So yeah, it's different in that case, but like if you're at the pier, let's say, the boat's kind of gray, the water's kind of blue, the boxes are brown, the barrels are red. Yeah, it's just nothing fancy, you know. And a lot of the bad guys look very similar, and it didn't look like they did a lot to change some of them. Some of them are just color swaps. They just give the guy a different color suit, and now voila, we have a new character. So you're just going to mow down gray after gray after gray mob guy, and then, oh, there's a red one. Gray, 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 red, gray, 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 green, you know, something like that. So it is very basic. And you know what? A lot of the guys didn't seem to have a face. Maybe that's why they have so much trouble hitting you. So I didn't think the graphics were that great, except for one exception. At the very end of the game, if you do get to it, at the ending, they do have a couple nice portrait still shots, if you will, of you rescuing your girl. I won't spoil it too much. I will say it's a little bit better than some 8-bit endings where they just give you a single picture and the end. This one gives you more than just a single picture. So in that case, it's a little bit better than your average game. But other than that, the graphics aren't too great. The music, well, you could tell what they were going for. It had that kind of mob 1930s feel to it. It fit its purpose, but it didn't really do much for me. The gun sound was okay. Tommy gun was kind of cool. I enjoyed the Tommy gun sound. That was kind of a neat sound. But other than that, the sounds didn't do too much for me anyways. But what's important is the gameplay. Who cares about graphics and sound if the gameplay is good, right? This game reminds me a little bit of Operation Wolf from its point of view. You can move side to side, but you can also move up and down in several levels. Not every level, but several of them you can move up and down. You see on screen your character is a yellow silhouette. The silhouette will turn red if you are in danger of being shot, but if you're yellow, that means that at least for the moment, you're in no danger of being shot. And unlike Operation Wolf, you control where you go. You can control if you want to just stay in one place, go left, go right, go up and down. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. But it kind of comes across as a light gun game you control with a controller, if that makes sense. It is all 100% controller. There is no light gun option, even though it kind of seems like there would be. You follow a crosshair. The crosshair, of course, is where you're aiming at. The crosshair could be right in front of you or could be to the side. So you could shoot something that's halfway across the screen or something directly in front of you, except everything moves really choppy. And I mean really choppy. You can almost see the frames. It kind of goes like this, like frame, 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 frame. Everything moves in like this choppy animation style, not just your character, even the bad guys and what have you. So you are equipped with a standard gun at the beginning of the game. Standard gun gives you one shot at a time. You have to push the button for every shot. No auto fire here, so if you want auto fire, you're going to have to get a turbo controller. You can get a Tommy gun. If you get that, it just shoots continuously, but it does have a limited amount of bullets. What will happen is you'll see a picture of a Tommy gun on the screen. You got to shoot it, just like a lot of other kind of light gun style games. If you don't shoot it quick enough, it will disappear. I don't know how they decided when these icons will pop up, but it just kind of seemed to be at random. I wasn't necessarily shooting in the area, so it's not like you destroyed something and it was underneath a garbage can or something. It just kind of pops in there every once in a while. Another power-up you can get is a health bar. Now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, your health bar is rather long to begin with, but that is a little bit deceiving because every time you get shot, you lose a third of your health bar. So 3 hits and you're done. It does give you more than 1 life, and you do have some continues in the game, and you can earn more lives as you go on. But if you are low on health, you can shoot a medic kit for 1 extra life bar of your 3, but if you have full health, you're not going to get a 4th bar. Shooting it would be worthless. The choppiness in the gameplay did lead to some struggles, especially when it came to the bad guys showing up. You see, in this game, the bad guys will come out of nowhere a lot. Sometimes they will pop up in windows and doors, like you would expect, but other times they'll just pop out of nowhere. It's like they were just transported there, and sometimes they will pop up right in front of you with an easy, clear shot right at you. I did get some cheap hits on me in that case. Alright, so you go around these levels just shooting. It's very repetitive. It was an arcade game, and it kind of plays like an arcade game. Very, 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 very repetitive. Is this game family friendly? Pretty much. It is a gun battle game. It is a gangster game, so it's definitely not for little ones. But there's not a lot of blood. When you shoot bad guys, they just kind of poof and go away. Unless it's a boss. Every level does have a boss. That's kind of nice. Even though some of the bosses kind of look similar, some look different. Some had their own different style and unique look to them. But there was a couple of them that looked almost like, did I see that boss before? Kind of feeling that I had in that. You know, some throw knives, some throw grenades. But anyways, is it family friendly? Yeah, it's pretty family friendly. If you get shot, there does get a little red bullet hole in you to simulate a little bit of blood. That's the only blood in that game. So yeah, it is a pretty family-friendly game. Now, if you do happen to die, it's interesting. The game will give you hints. Like my favorite, don't stand in front of the enemy. Oh, thanks for telling me that. Or you will also get hints if you beat a level. It'll give you hints too, saying stuff like, don't stand in front of the enemy. Wait a minute, that's the only hint they ever gave. Yeah, that's the only hint they ever gave you on the screen, is don't stand in front of the enemy. Thank you so much. I was wondering why I kept getting hit over and over until you explained it. Forgot to mention you can duck. One button shoots, the other ducks. If you duck, it is very difficult for the enemy to hit you. More likely than not, they will not hit you, even if you're staying right in front of them. Some of the bosses, if they throw a knife or grenade, may still hit you. But while you're ducked, you cannot shoot. And also, while you're ducked, it won't last forever. No matter how long you hold the button, eventually it'll make you pop up. So anyways, there you go. If you were looking for this on eBay, it is an uncommon game. There isn't a lot of examples on there. As a matter of fact, I couldn't find any loose carts that were sold recently. Only complete copies, and those went for around $15 to $20 a copy. So, is it worth it? Well, I think maybe only for the die-hard Sega collectors. It's fun for about 9 or 10 minutes. And it's not that hard. When I played it the first time, I got through to the last level. I didn't defeat it. I did defeat it when I owned it when I was younger. This is the second time I've owned this game. And I think I could defeat it again. I played it 2 times, and the second time around, I got a little farther than before. On the last level, I didn't get to the very last boss, but I came pretty close. And I think with a little practice, I could do it. So it's not that tough a game. It gives you about 10 minutes of fun. I guess it's kind of what you expect from an arcade game. But overall, not something that I would definitely recommend. Looking at my list of games that I've ranked here, I'm kind of looking at the range around where a game like Rampage, which is also kind of arcadey, good for short spurts, and a game like E.T., you know, which again, I enjoy E.T. a little bit here and there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich it right in between the two. So would I rather play Rampage? Yeah, I think I had a little more fun, tearing down buildings and hitting trolleys on the ground than I did shooting mobsters, you know, but I think this was a little bit more enjoyable than E.T., so that's where I'm going to put it, and that is Dead Angle for your Sega Master System. Hey, if you want to know what the next game in our ABCs of Retro series is, it's going to be the letter E, and I'll give you a hint on Facebook. That's right, you're going to have to follow me on the Facebook. Go to facebook.com/TheNoSwearGamer to follow me there. You can also follow me on Google Plus as well. Also, if you don't want to miss one of these videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there right underneath the video. I'd appreciate that well. Anyways, I wanted to give some shout outs before we end our show today. First to Sweet from the Retro Obscure podcast and Jotham. Both those guys suggested I do Dead Angle today. Actually, Dead Angel, because I misspelled it because I didn't realize I was spelling it wrong. Also want to give some shout outs to Aaron and Dub. Both those guys are from the Retro Obscure podcast as well as Eric and Tripcore. They gave some other suggestions, including Dark Chambers for the Atari 2600, Double Dragon 2 on the NES, Daytona USA on the Sega Saturn, and Donkey Kong for the Intellivision. So stay tuned, we might be seeing some of those in the future. Thanks for giving me a little part of your day. Hope you enjoyed the review here, and I will see you next time. Have a retro-rific one.